So today on Adventure Freaks, my new friend Erik Feustel. Erik, man, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, so Erik, you live in the Philippines, and it's such a really amazing destination with so many great islands and amazing food and there's so much incredible nature and it really is a fascinating place to live. And you are originally from Germany, right?
Yes, yes.
So, okay, what part of Germany are you from?
Yeah, so it's in the east it's called Dresden. So it's quite a touristy place itself,
Okay,
but yeah.
Dresden. All right. All right. Well, let's talk. So you help run a family resort, and it's called the South Drive Beach Resort in the Philippines. What part of the Philippines is that in?
Yeah, so it's in the west of the Philippines. It's called the island called Mindoro is one of the
Doro.
middle east island. Yeah,
Okay.
Mindoro. And so the island has two parts, and this part is Oriental Mindoro.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's in the countryside. It's not like the most touristy place for foreigners, so we have more local and Filipino tourists.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about your backstory about how you left Germany and how did you find and land in the Philippines?
Yeah, yeah. So after school I went to the United Kingdom, so the UK, and I was there working as uh, in healthcare for people with learning disabilities. And so stayed there for a few years and met my wife from the Philippines there. And so we got married, and then we moved back to Germany for 5 years, where I studied psychology. And then basically after that, we decided, okay, well, Germany is not, we don't want to stay in Germany. And of course, it's nice to stay next, close to at least one side of the family. And then we went, came here to the Philippines, well, 1 year ago, actually.
Mhm.
And took over the family business because the mother is retiring, and so it was a good time to come as here to the Philippines. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys chose the Philippines over Germany.
Yes.
Do your
Yes.
do your parents still talk to you?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. They also love to travel, so it's for them an opportunity. Of course, it's a bit far away, but they like to come and visit. Trying to do that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay. So you met your wife in the UK, and then did you guys get married in the UK?
No, so we got married here in the Philippines.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, basically that was so. We would love to have got married in the UK, but lots of her relatives cannot travel easily to Europe, so
Mhm.
it wasn't really an option. And my relatives can easily travel to the Philippines, so that's
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So let's start off with tell us a little bit about your first impressions of the Philippines when you first got there. What makes the Philippines special?
Mm, yeah, I mean, it's really like this holiday destination, like with white beaches and palm trees. But like when you get there, of course, it's it's much more than that. So like a beach you can get in many places,
Mhm.
but actually people are super welcoming, so they're a bit shy to speak English, although they learn a lot of English. But they're kind of happy that you're there in whatever way. And so it's when you get there, of course, you have beaches, but you also got really nice mountains
Hmm.
and yeah, the sort of countryside. I think it's the nice bit. I mean, cities are cities, you know, in a
Yeah.
way. But so the countryside is really nice, and uh, yeah, you get those island feeling. And if you come from a continent, I mean, you're in the US, you know, and in Europe, so it's this. So you're always at the sea, and you can and enjoy life here. Is going a bit slower
Hmm.
than what you have in Europe, and so it's fairly relaxed on
Hmm.
many levels. So it makes you sort of calm down, I think, from the busy life in
Hmm.
Europe. I think so. That's sort of the main points, and of course, I quite like sort of the fresh fruits you can get here. I mean, it's just fantastic seeing like jackfruit and things you can just buy. This for me like a plus point. Of course, that's not the only country who has it, but
Hmm.
it's that kind of yeah, having straight access to this kind of things is really nice.
Hmm. Nice. So you feel, I think you described like the people are really welcoming, very friendly and welcoming.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. They're trying to accommodate you into this life here, so they
Hmm.
trying to be considerate. Um, that
Yeah.
and that's very nice.
Yeah, that's terrific. And then you said that just being there, you feel like your level of like anxiety has come down. You feel calmer in
Yeah,
the
yeah. It's just. I mean, you learn a lot of patience to be patient as well, but
yeah,
it's this it's just because it's also so hot. I mean, you can't just work all day. It's impossible. Like when you
yeah,
are outside, of course, inside aircon and stuff, but like the outside, so you need to take more breaks, and people take breaks together, so it makes you it makes it nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's pull. I'm going to pull up a map to show the um the viewers where the Philippines is. Let me pull this up here. Okay, so here's the Philippines, and Manila is the big. So you're not even close to Manila.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
so that's why you don't feel any anxiety because
yes,
you're out of the hustle and bustle.
yes, definitely.
Okay, so Manila is the capital, and let's see where you are. You're south of Manila
Yeah,
on this island called Mindoro, right there, right?
yes,
Right
yeah,
here.
yeah,
And what section are you in? Where's the
yes.
resort?
So you see in the bottom right, basically, there's Bulalakaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the place.
So this is where you live.
Yes, yeah, in
Oh,
that
look at
bay.
that. Look at the pictures it pulls up. It's 82 degrees with waterfalls. No wonder you're so relaxed. That's just not fair, Eric. Everybody else, man, that's that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So you are okay. Have you been to Cebu or Manila or any of the larger cities?
Yeah, yeah. I've been in Cebu, and we have. So my wife has a few sisters who still study in Manila, so we have a flat in Manila,
Yeah.
and we are there, well, on a regular basis.
Okay.
So
Is that an impressive city to you? Is it exciting? Is it impressive? Or is it what's your impression of that?
I mean, it's a very large city. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
20 million people or so living there. It's very large as well from the space.
Hmm.
Um, but well, it's very hot and very congested, and
Okay.
that's sort of the downsides. and but it's it's good for shopping and big malls and this kind of stuff if you like that.
Hmm.
But and if you miss like something from your home country, you probably will find it there.
Yeah.
So like like a butcher or a coffee shop which you really like and things like that. But generally, I would say I try to avoid it because it's fairly expensive compared to the rest of the Philippines,
Hmm.
because you need to go everywhere with like a uh, yeah, it's called Grab, but it's like Uber and or taxi and things like this. And yeah, for me, when we do like often in Mindoro, you can't do my visa and things, so you need to go there. But um, otherwise, like for shopping, we go to IKEA. So
Oh, they have an IKEA there.
yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
believe it's the world biggest.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. The world
but yeah,
biggest IKEA is in Manila.
I believe so. That's what they claim.
That's what they say. Hey, wow. That's worth a visit. Well, see, the thing is though, is you're married, so it's like for people that are the younger guys or the younger women that want to go check it out and they're single, Manila would be probably a lot of fun because there's probably a lot of restaurants, a lot of active nightlife, and just a lot of activities and things to do within that city. I'm guessing.
Yeah, there's some parts of the city which are very well developed and they have nice bars and things. So like when we're in Manila, we definitely go to some of the stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
nice. So what can you tell us about now it's a different situation for you because you got married, but for people that want to move or are considering moving, living in the Philippines, retiring in the Philippines, do you know much about the visa process for that?
yeah, I mean there's a few different ones, but like many people actually go the really easy way and get the tourist visa and you can extend it up to 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah, that's so you get 30 days for free for most some Western countries,
Yeah.
and then you can extend that for another 30 or 29, and then you can extend it up. I think sometimes they give you only 2 months, but sometimes they give you 6 months, and then you can do that for up to 3 years. Then you need to leave for a day or make a
Wow.
nice vacation home, and then you can come back. So
Okay.
many people go like the easy way is, I mean, for the Philippines is expensive, but it costs a few $100s a year
Hmm.
to do those extensions. So it's not like really expensive.
Yeah.
But then you can also uh, the other like way, of course, working visas, but that's difficult um, because you need to find a company who employs you. And the other way is, of course, retiree visa, which is fairly often used. Is especially easy for military veterans, like also from other countries like the US. So also probably based out of the history of the Philippines, with many Americans stationed here.
Yeah.
But so that cost, so you need to make a deposit for that, and it's between depending on the age and pension, or if you have no pension and things, it's between 10,000 and I think $50,000.
Hmm.
So it's fairly simple, and then of course paper stuff, but you can sort that out beforehand, and many people do that, and it's
What so
fairly easy.
10,000 and 50,000 for what?
You need to make a deposit here in the bank, like as your like a security deposit that the Philippines know that you have some money.
I see. In the mid
So
and it's anywhere from 10 to 50,000?
Yeah, so it's depending on if you get like a regular pension or not.
Okay.
So yeah, and how old you are. They have since the pandemic, they canceled the one where you can apply already for it when you are 35. So the
Uh-huh.
minimum age for that is now 50.
Okay.
But maybe the for the younger one that comes back to and when you're younger, I think you need to have a bit more money in the deposit as when you get like a pension from your country where you come from.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So let's get into the cost of living. So everybody that is interested in moving there, they're probably going to land where in Cebu or Manila first.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have any idea what rentals for a flat go in Manila? Low end
Yeah.
and the high?
Yeah. I mean, you can go fairly low. I mean, so there are big cities. Of course, they're not gonna be that cheap for what you will find as a foreigner. Um, but so I think for comfortable and sort of uh, fairly easy to find, if you start with $600 per month to find a place. I mean, you can start with the Airbnb and look from there. They will be around that price.
Okay.
Mm. But uh, so that will be in some condominium block, and then you can go from there. But of course, upwards there's no limit really.
Sure. Okay. So starting out, you're going to find stuff for about 600 in Manila.
Yeah, I mean you need to look,
Yeah.
and then you need to check a bit the area, maybe. So there's but there's definitely people who find things like this, and you can find Airbnb for this kind of price as well. But yeah, that's really the bottom bracket,
Okay.
especially for Manila, Cebu, uh, maybe Davao as well in the south. So
So
that's
now if you step outside of those cities, what can you get a flat for if you move to an island like yours?
yeah. I mean here you probably will gonna rent a house, not a flat.
Okay.
Um, but so it's lower. But often what people want to have here is like a 6 month rental contract or so, to have a bit more stability in how they rent out. So they're more less likely to rent you something for a house for $400 maybe,
Mm-hmm.
2 bedrooms is I think realistically.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you you can get yeah a little house, but often they ask for like 6 month rent or something like this, so that it's just because it's not so of a high demand, and then when they go through the effort, they don't want you to leave after a few weeks again.
Sure. Sure. So you can actually live on an island close to the beach in a house and pay 400 a month.
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, you will find cheaper ones. I'm quite sure. Um, but of course, like I know here down the street is there's a house which you can get is on the it's not on the beach but on the promenade, because we are in the town,
Yeah.
and then that's for around that price to rent.
Okay. All right. Nice. And now, as far as utilities, like electric, Wi-Fi, water, is that an additional cost or is that included?
Yeah, I mean, depends what your landlord is doing, but often it's additional cost, and
Okay.
that can so water is very cheap usually. Um, this is not a problem. It's really like per month. That's like a couple of dollars
Okay.
if you use a lot of water. So but like with wash machine or something like this. And then electricity, kind of varies greatly around the Philippines. So in the big cities, it's more expensive, of course, than here in the countryside. And it's I don't know the electricity cost in the United States actually, but for Europe it's fairly cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, depends what you use, how many air cons you run.
Yeah.
Um, but it's still like, I mean, so on a regular basis we run 1 horsepower, one aircon with 1 horsepower, if almost all day, and we pay like a $100 a month for
Okay.
electricity with the lights on. Of course, in the night we have outside lights, um, all this kind of thing. So
Okay.
for me, coming from Germany, running an aircon in Germany would be much more expensive.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. Germany is expensive place to live now.
Yeah, I now especially.
Yeah. So, okay. Now can you purchase real estate as an expat?
Mm, yeah, so cannot you can buy condos.
Okay.
So in a, those high-rising buildings and things, or in some communities, you can buy condos, and that includes kind of, if your house here in the countryside is classified as a condo, you can
Oh, okay.
as well, but you cannot, as a foreigner, buy the land underneath, basically.
Okay.
So you're not allowed to own any land as a foreigner in
Interesting.
the Philippines. Yeah. So otherwise, yeah, it's just to protect. Otherwise, it would be sold out basically,
Yeah.
and the locals have no ability to buy land. If you're married, of course, you can buy with your wife.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, corporations can buy land, but they need to be, to I think, 60% owned by Filipino stakeholders.
Okay.
So that's a bit of a trick, but yeah, so many people rent basically land, so you can get like the maximum length of a renting agreement is 50 years, and then you can extend it for another 25 years.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
by law, I guess. I don't actually know the law, but that's what people do and what get told.
Yeah. Can expats that decide to move to the Philippines, can they build a house?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
can.
So when you rent your property, of course, is in this classified as residential area
Mhm.
or a small house on a farm area, and you can build some your own house and things. But of course, you always need to, like, it's not your land,
Right.
so you're renting the land, and that's the sort of risk. So the recommendation I would give is to rent the whole place, like with the house already on it. Um,
Okay. You'd recommend not building a house.
yeah, I mean, there's people who make really good experience, and then the others make really bad experience. But the property situation here is kind of a mess, and
Mhm.
you almost need a lawyer in order to check if that property is not, under some claim from other parties and things like this. And if you invest too much and then it comes out that the person who rented to you is actually not the owner of that place, and then you
Sure.
build a house on it, that's that. I mean, you hear that. I have met people who had that experience in
Really?
person. Um, yeah,
Wow.
but so it's because yeah, it's a bit messy when you buy a property here, and so that's yeah, really, I would say a downside of it. I can understand the law that you cannot buy, but um, it's so renting, and then when you know the place and the people, and then you might find a good place where you can build a house.
Hmm.
But I would not start off and sort of go for the next best thing, but properly check it.
Yeah, yeah. So you need a good. It sounds like you definitely need to identify a good lawyer in the Philippines if you're considering doing anything like that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, renting is very easy, and then you can also be quickly gone if
Yeah.
think somewhere else is nicer. And you can buy condos, and they are a good investment as well. But when you want to have properties without a Filipino partner, it's really not really possible.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So let's move on to healthcare. Everybody's interested in healthcare. So what is the healthcare like, and is it affordable? It's
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm not in the age where I need a lot of healthcare, luckily. uh, but so it's it's I would say it's fairly affordable for um what you can say. I mean, in Germany, because we have a national health system, most of it is covered by the national health system. So I don't have like the open free market prices for things in my head,
yeah.
but it's of course cheaper than in Western countries.
Hmm. Okay.
If you don't go maybe to the uh, American or German run hospital, then it will be matching some of the prices.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so it's it's of course you need to pay another to get treated,
Hmm.
and um, it's as a foreigner, if you have a residence visa, so if you're retired or if you're resident by marriage, then you're also covered by the national health. You can apply for the national health system coverage here, which gives you
Okay.
some discount on things as well, um, which is which is nice, like for the local like checkups and things,
Yeah.
which is not much. I mean, when you go here, like you have a stomach bug, you go to the hospital, and like they check you up that you're not having appendix problem or something
Sure.
like this. You pay like $10 or something, uh, but
Hmm.
then for operation, of course, it can go higher.
Do you feel like most expats over there are just paying out of pocket for healthcare? Or do they have some form of health insurance?
Yeah, I think like the older ones, like I
Yeah.
think from so 60, 65 onwards, I think most of them have an insurance.
Sure, yeah.
But many younger ones I know, they just, pay out of the
Pay
pocket.
out of pocket.
You put like, two, three, four, $5,000 dollars to the side, and uh, I think you will be good, good covered. There's some the sort of more like well, I made here like a life insurance plan, which you could pay out if something is like, really going down.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't have a specific health insurance just for health.
Yeah. Have you had to go to the doctor since you've been there?
Yeah, I've been to the local sort of clinic, they call it here. It's not really a hospital, because the hospitals are in the bigger cities.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so when you come here, sometimes your stomach will be upset.
Yeah.
and and yeah, if it lasts like 2 days and you think like, oh, maybe it's just it's something, then I went, and yeah, it's fine. I mean, the doctors at least speak very well English as well, because they, of course, in school, in university, you talk English, so it's
Hmm.
no problem with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But
Great.
maybe for one tip, like for older people, like if they, depending how they feel, of course, is like, I mean, the proper next hospital, like a real hospital with all the units, is from us, is on the other end of the island. So it's like 3 4 hours drive.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's something, like if you need like a regular treatment for something and they can't do it locally, then that's things to consider where you move in the Philippines, because it's not everywhere everything is available easily.
So, hey, man, we were on transportation, getting around.
Yeah.
My question to you is, like, when you do travel to the big cities off the island, do you take a plane or do you take a boat?
Depends, but like domestic flights are fairly cheap. So it's like, for 20 to 40 dollars, you can get a return ticket. I mean, depending if the gas prices and stay like
Yeah.
that.
So you can
But
fly, you can get a round trip ticket for 20 to 40 bucks
yeah, yeah.
from where
Uh,
you're at. Yeah, wow, that's really cheap. What airline is that?
it's called Cebu Pacific, which flies here.
Cebu Pacific. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then Philippine Airlines and Air Asia's are like the more local ones who fly within the Philippines, I think. Maybe there's more, but that's the ones I've seen.
Yeah. Okay. So it depends. So you've done both. Have you taken like any ferries or boats over to the mainland?
Yeah, yeah. So I've been taking the airplane, so it's like 30 minutes drive to the airport, and then get quickly like 40 minutes flight to Manila. And but yeah, driving, I mean, we have a car here. You don't need to have a car if you run a business, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, you can sort of drive, or you take buses. You just need to look for nice buses. I mean, I'm 6'3", so I can't
Oh, wow,
cram
you're
this
tall, man.
bus. Yeah. So some of those sort of mini buses, they're too small for me. Like I'm getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the bigger, sort of yeah, the big buses, overland buses, like what do you have in the US, like Greyhound, or
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
they
So did you play basketball in Germany?
no, because it's not popular in
No.
Germany at all.
Yeah.
I did swimming. I did
Oh, you were a
swimming.
swimmer.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you competitive?
Up to I was a teenager, I was very in the competitive thing, and then I grew too fast, so I had some joint issues, and it was
Oh,
better for me
gotcha.
to stop.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So getting around typically on the island, people have cars. I know scooters are big over there as well. Do people scoot around on those islands as well with scooters?
yeah, a lot, and I
Okay.
think that's the main reason why it takes so long to get from one place to another, because there's so many scooters and things on the street.
On the street and in the way.
Yeah. You're going, of course, slower than if you would go with car. And
Okay.
yeah, but roads are, I mean, mostly, the connection roads are all, made, paved, and concrete roads usually.
Hmm. And are the when you take a bus from one area to another, is that pretty affordable for people to bus around the country?
Yeah, I mean, so if you, as I had friends who came here for backpacking, and they actually did like whole way around with buses. It's yeah, of course varies, but it's, I mean, fees are for the whole island. You pay like $5 to $10 or something like this.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, of course, if depending always a bit like with how much the fuel is actually costing, but at the moment a liter of petrol is a bit less than $1, so it's
Mhm.
fairly expensive. It used to be, very cheap, but maybe it get there again. But
Yeah.
the fees are still, especially from when you come from a Western country, are like, yeah, that's simple. The hard thing is to find the buses.
Oh, okay. So that's tricky.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it's a bit um it's not so well organized as might want to hope. That's so, but the good bus companies you will find online.
Mhm.
They have websites. But if you want to get more local or like a small connection, then you kind of need to ask the local people where the buses actually leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then usually buses are fairly kind. If you tell them you need to go there, and if it's on the route, they also stop exactly in front of that place if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you tell them.
Now, do the big cities, do they have a metro system or what kind of public transportation do they have?
Yeah, so in Manila there are three metro lines
Okay.
which are very affordable. Forgot the prices, but it's like a few cents.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, one way, which could be more. I think could be much more for a big city like this. But yeah, it's a nice thing if you don't go on rush hours. Otherwise, you don't fit into the into the train.
Yeah.
But so, and then on the other hand, they have like lots of different ways. I mean, the Philippines or especially Manila is very iconic for those chipneys, those little sort of buses, or sort of silver and painted and lots of chrome and things. They
What
are
are they
drive like
what are they called? Chipneys?
chipney. Yeah, like they're based on a cheap, and that's why they're chipney. So if they are, so yeah. Um,
Cheap made, you said? Cheap.
no, no, they're based on a cheap, like the car cheap.
Yeah.
So they have a front like a cheap. You would like an old cheap. Um, but yeah, so they are around. They are really for the local people to travel, and if you are with a local, then they can figure out where they are actually going.
Gotcha. And those are called are they called chipneys?
No, so they are cheap like J and then
Chip
like
G.
like yeah,
JII. Chip G. Cheap G.
chip chip like so cheap,
Cheap, yep.
like the, and then ni with N, and then I guess it's a
Maybe,
Y.
hey, do you if you have a picture, send me a picture or something.
Yeah,
I'd like
yeah,
to
yeah,
see what they look like.
yeah. So they're kind of famous here, but there's other like sort of more aircon, smaller buses who drive around the cities, which have in front written where they are going. Um, and people understand sort of like a good deal of English. They might not answer you, like they just nod and stuff. But if you ask like, I want to go to this mall, are you going there? And people usually say yes or no, the
Yeah.
driver. And then he usually tells you also like, here, you need to get off here.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, and then
All right.
the local is the sort of tricycle thing, like on the moped, you know, on the side card
Mm-hmm.
moped thing.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Do you guys have a scooter yourself or?
No, we actually we don't. We are saving some money for a 4x4, like
Oh,
little, yeah, because my wife doesn't feel safe on a scooter.
gotcha.
No, so she wants four wheels. So we want to have something small to go around like that.
Nice. Nice. All right. So what do people do for fun? What do they do for entertainment for fun in the Philippines?
Yeah, uh, very big is karaoke.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
big thing all over Asia. So just
yeah,
a huge thing all over Asia.
yeah.
Karaoke.
So that's really, you can find that everywhere, karaoke bars and things. Of course, bars in generally are fun, um, and things. And there's on the countryside, you don't get those like clubs you would have in the West. You need to go to the cities where you have like the disco type clubs. But bars and beach resort where you go and you enjoy your time. You go to the beach, have barbecue, and of course island hopping is uh, on whatever scale you want to make it. It's possible with 7,000 islands, more than 7,000 islands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how do you do that? I mean, if somebody were to stay at your resort, can you schedule trips to bounce to different islands and check different places out? And then when you get to those islands, what do people typically do there? Do they just kind of walk around? Do they lounge on the beach? Are some of the islands more desirable for maybe surfing or fishing, snorkeling, scuba diving?
Yeah, yeah. There's is a lot in like around Cebu. You can actually see whale sharks. So many people go there diving and swimming with the whale sharks and things. There's some islands there. And here you would like we have a small boat for island hopping as well in our resort actually. And we would go to the local small islands basically around here. And you can explore the island and you can do snorkeling. Nice corals, fishes, you can see, and white beaches, of course. And if you be here out here in the countryside, you're usually the only ones on those islands. So
Hmm.
it's sort of a nice day trip you can do, or if you're adventurous, you camp there overnight.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up that map again because I want to see where you're at. Let me do
Mm,
this, and I want to see where you go. Um, so if
yeah,
I were to hang out, where are we?
yeah,
There's
there.
Cebu. You're below Cebu, right?
Oh, no, no, north.
Oh, you're right here.
No, further. I go a bit more further north. Yeah, there's Mindoro. There's a
Mindoro, right here. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you are okay, so if I close in, oh, I see. So there's some islands real close to you here.
Yes, yes,
These
yes.
little islands right here.
Yeah. So there's the Bulalakaw Bay. Yeah, exactly.
I
Um,
see. So Mason and Tambaron, Tambaron
yeah,
Island
yeah. And further, if you go on the left of the screen, there's some more like this those little islands there in front
right
of the
here.
coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really nice. They're really nice.
Wow. Aslam. Aslam Island Beach.
Yeah, so there's quite a few of those so small islands which you just can go and Yeah.
And the
Uh,
water is like crystal clear out there, right?
yeah, crystal clear, and of course, always you can overswim. I don't know exactly how warm, but of course, above uh, at least above 22 degrees. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably warmer on the beach.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all my questions. I mean, Erik, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you've experienced or you think the viewers could benefit hearing about in the Philippines? Anything else you can think of?
Uh, I think my main tip is to when you move here is to be patient and look what's really for you, and see if the country is something for you, if you can get used to well karaoke in the night and things like this, and to really find the place where you want to stay. I see some people who are like, oh, now I'm retired, now I'm moving, I packed everything and let's
Yeah.
go. And
Yeah.
if I would, visit, try to visit for longer times before to get used to the country, and that no matter what country really. That's so. I think it's a beautiful place. If you want to find work here as a foreigner, that's hard. That
Yeah.
maybe uh, yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I would say that it's probably a growing destination for digital nomads that are already working online. And what makes
yeah.
it, if there's islands where you can live that cheaply, then I think there's probably a lot. I'm guessing it would be a destination for young people to go and hang out on a beach and work from their laptop. And it's clear, it's obvious that the Wi-Fi is fantastic over there, even on the islands, because you're not breaking out at all.
Yeah, I mean they just actually laid here on the road is coming. There's fiberglass optic as well, so it's gonna be better. At the moment, it's 5G. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so basically, I'm over 5G network in it.
Yeah. Does it ever get cool in the Philippines? In any part of the year, does it ever cool down?
Yeah,
And
I think the coldest is sort of January,
okay,
um, because it's still, of course, in the north of the hemisphere. But I mean, what means cool? It's like 20 degrees.
right, yeah. So
But you can go to the mountains. There's like the city is called Baguio and Sagada, two cities where also yeah, people go here when it's here really hot, then they go there to have it a bit cooler.
yeah, it's pretty tropical, right? It's always and it's pretty humid out there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
always
you have basically you have rain season and sunny season, really.
yeah. Well, in those kind of climates, there's somewhat interesting to live in because you pretty much sweat every day. And there's something good about sweating every day. That's good, especially as you're getting older, because it keeps the weight off, you know?
Well, but the food is very fatty as well, so if you need
Is
to.
it? Really? The
Yeah.
food is fat? What is the food over there? What's the food like?
I mean, here's a lot of people like to eat pork here.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and yeah, so that's definitely something like you don't need to eat vegetables here if you don't like, but rice, of course, lots of pork and a lot of seafood. You know,
Mm, yeah.
so you know, beef is more expensive, but of course, if you can afford it, you can go for it. It's it's very heavily influenced from the Spanish food, of course,
Hmm.
as a former colony.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, it's many things are fried here actually.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you typically eat through the week? What kind of food do you guys make?
Uh, I mean, we because we have a restaurant in the hotel, of course. We and we do pizza and pasta as well. So
Hmm.
we have a wide variety of like local food, um, and so they like those stews. Here's lots of different kind of stews as well, um, and a lot of rice. But then sometimes we sneak in some pasta bolognese and
Hey,
things like this as well.
nice.
So we try to keep it mixed. We try to eat salad as well
You
because
try. I like how you said
yes,
that. We try to eat salad as well.
yeah. So it's very protein based diet here. Um, and sometimes I think like let's put some more vegetables actually in here. Um, yeah. And then there's fantastic seafood. I mean, if you want to eat
I bet.
lots of seafood. I'm not a big fan of fish, but I like crabs and lobster and all these things I really like.
Yeah,
And
nice. What is it if you go out to a typical Philippine restaurant? What are you looking to pay? How much would it cost for a person? Just an idea, like a typical restaurant, nothing fancy. Just you go to a regular family Philippine restaurant. Um, what would the cost of a dinner be?
yeah, I mean, food is really the cheap and here, so it's like I mean, a proper meal is maybe $2 to $3, and
Yeah,
then you're really full.
yeah. Wow.
With that. So like often, I mean, Filipinos love to share, so they order a few things, put it on the table, and then everyone eats from everything a little bit. And but yeah, then you go out with for a family of four with your kids maybe, and you go out in a Filipino restaurant with maybe $10, and you have eaten well, and you have drunken a beer.
Wow.
So, but
Wow.
of course,
That's
yeah,
incredible.
things can be more expensive.
I can't imagine taking a family of four out here in the U.S. and the States here. You're going to easily drop $100 easily, and that's just at a regular restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I mean, like here, see, you buy even like Western food, like a pizza or a burger for like in a burger place, like a restaurant, not like McDonald's stuff. You pay $1 to $3,
yeah,
so that's the kind of thing, and maybe a pizza for $4, $5, something like this around.
yeah, yeah. All right, man. Well, Eric, man, what time do you get up in the morning?
Well,
You get up pretty early every morning?
we do often. Depends. Often we work late, of course, because having guests. But usually if we need to work office things, we try to do in the morning because it's in lunchtime you do fiesta and then siesta. It's just too hot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
you want to start early in the morning.
Yeah. Because it's right now it's 9 a.m. there, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, so it's 9 p.m. here. So, all right, man. Do you have anything else you want to add before we go?
I mean, if any of the viewers has watched that long now, then they might be interested in we have a little vlog as well, and maybe you can link that down below. We try to upload some videos and how we live here actually.
Yeah,
Every
I,
now and then.
we yeah, definitely. I'll put all your links on here so people can
Yeah,
find you guys. And they can find your resort and any other links that you want to add, I'll include so that they can
yeah,
they can locate you. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, Erik
Yeah.
Feustel, thank you,
Yes.
buddy, for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Was nice.
Nice meeting you, and have a great rest of your day. And
Yeah.
and I'm going to be going to bed here soon.
Yes, yes, sleep well.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks
Yes,
again, man, and I'll talk to you soon.
yes. See ya.
Okay, take care.